D, wait for it, delightful.
Check out the name tag. You're in my world now, Grandma.
What's up, nerds? So I just finished Doom Patrol, episode 6 of season 4. And again, pretty good episode. I enjoy this show. We got some revelations, if you will, on who I think Immortus is. And we figured out what happened with Jane and the bunny from last one. I can't remember what the bunny's name is. But it's a bunny. That bunny and the wizards and stuff. But I really liked, again, I realize why people, I mean, I know why a lot of people, I don't know anybody that watches this show but myself. And I think I know why people don't watch the show. And that is because it's very niche. It's very, if you're not into it, you're not into it. But one thing also that did happen, and I'll get into it during the breakdown, and I won't take up too much of your time because I don't write down what they say a lot of the time with Doom Patrol because, I mean, yeah, I'm just gonna talk about it. But one thing I did like was Rita and Madame Rouge went on a little mission together, and I liked that a lot because Rita's my favorite character, and Madame Rouge was all like in this episode, she's like, "You're the leader," and everything. It was a good time. I really do enjoy this show a lot. I really just feel that I think people should watch this show. I mean, it's on HBO Max, whatever they're gonna name it or whatever. But I hope like I want it. It's not gonna get a season 5, but I want it to. Like, I think this show is good and I like it a lot. So I don't know. All right, I'm gonna stop yapping and get to my breakdown and everything. I'm gonna try something new, you guys. So bear with me. Okay, but before I do, I just want to say that if you like what I do here and you enjoy independent content here on YouTube, please consider subscribing to my channel. YouTube is always changing up their algorithm, and small channels like mine, we always get shoved to the back of the line. So please ask that you like, share, and subscribe, and I thank you in advance. All right, now that I got that out of the way, why don't we go ahead and get started on this breakdown. Okay, so it starts off in the garage and, Robotman's fixing his car and Jane wakes up and she's like, "Oh, what happened?" He's like, "You were a baby. I found you. I nursed you back to health. I became all grown and everything was fine. And then you eventually came back to yourself also." So then she's all like, "Oh my goodness, what happened? I remember a bunny and some dudes in cloaks and everything." And Willoughby, and he's like, "Yeah, Willoughby must have got his freak on and lost his V card." And I was like, he's like, "Good for him," and everything. So then she sees that she's lost her longevity. And that's their whole thing. Everybody's losing their longevity so Immortus can rise. Like I said before, I have the omnibus. I have the volume 1. There's like 4 volumes. I think there might be 5. But I have 4 volumes of the Doom Patrol comics. And I've only like 13 pages in. I'm trying to get to it. It's really hard for me these days to read comics and read in general, which really bums me out. But what are you going to do? Okay, so she's like, "Oh my God, he took my longevity. I need to get my longevity back." And he's like, "You need to calm down. I'm fixing this car for my grandson. So he has something to remember me by." And I'm all like, "Oh, who cares?" Don't get me wrong. I really like Robotman. But him in this whole, like, I have kids, so I understand the whole, like legacy and, wanting to leave them stuff or something and whatnot. But Robotman is taking this to like a really weird place. I want to leave in this car. So, I mean, come on. I mean, memories are what people want, not things. I read this article, and give me 10 more seconds. I read this article talking about like kids for Christmas gifts. They prefer experiences over physical items. And so I've been trying to do that more, like take trips and stuff like that, even if it's to, just to another state to visit family or whatever. So I think that Robotman needs to realize that and just move on. Okay, so then she's all like, "I need to get my longevity back. If he gets our longevity, Immortus will rise," or some crap like that. I can't remember exactly. Then his hands, the puppet hand starts talking to him. He's like, "Hey, Baba, or Papa, what's going on here?" kind of thing. So Vic gets a ride back from his friend from Detroit. Ew, Detroit is gross. And he's all like, "Why did you come there, man?" He's like, "I don't know." So she goes back to the underground, and all the personalities are doing puzzles. And she's all like, "What are you doing?" She's like, "That's what the kid wants." And then, yeah, but that's what trauma wanted. And she's like, "Do not compare us and everything." And she's like, "Fine. If you guys are just gonna sit here and just like go out, then I'm going out with a bang, and I'm gonna do what I want, suckers." So the Madame Rouge comes out with some coffee for Rita. And she's like, "Did we sleep here the whole night?" And she's like, "Well, we turned into babies, and then the bus came or whatever, and they left us here as babies or something like that." It's a funny commentary kind of thing. She's like, "All right, we're gonna go on a mission." She's like, "You're the leader." And she's like, "What? I'm the leader?" And she's like, "Listen, we need to be honest. The only reason they made me leader was for that one mission, and it was BS." She's like, "You're the leader." And she's right. Rita's a great leader, in my opinion. I know she's my favorite, so I'm going to stick up for her. But I want to be honest. Rita, their missions that they went on were a success under Rita's leadership. Sure, she can be a little, abrasive sometimes, but in a polite way. But at the same time, I just go, she's a good leader, so let her lead. And you know how they say people that don't want to be leaders are usually the best leaders. And I don't think Rita wanted to be leader. In fact, I know she didn't want to be leader, but she accepted that role after she was thrust into it. All right, moving on. So they talk about how they're going to they need to go back to the Bureau to find out this whole thing, because that's where it started. So if you remember Larry last episode, a little thing got cut into, the space-time continuum or whatever, and he got sucked into it. Well, they're in Orquith, which is an alternate dimension, and these little scissors men, scissor hands men, they're like the henchmen of Immortus, which we will find out later on. And then he's all like, "Hey, help me out, little electric baby." I can't remember. He's like, "Hey, let him go," yada, yada, yada. And he helps them escape, and they get out, and he explains what's going on. And he's like, "After we, beat Immortus, I promise you, me and my team will help you out." I have a feeling he's going to go bye-bye, but this is a love interest for him. So then moving forward, he opens up a thing, and then he's sitting here talking to his hand. I can't remember what they say. Sorry, guys. Please don't be mad at me. And so then, he shows him that he kept the werebutt, because he's like, "I'm a bad person." He's like, "You're not a bad person. Would a bad person keep the last werebutt alive?" Which I, again, knew that he did this, but this was a bad idea. And I don't understand how nobody found it, because look, there's cheese sticks in here. How are you not eating these cheese sticks? I mean, he doesn't eat. And then there's like all these frozen stuff in here. Like, what are those pot stickers right there? I would have been in this freezer right off the bat on a Saturday night after doing a little drinky drink. I'd have been like, "Where are those cheese sticks? I'm hungry." Stop it. You've been there before. Don't judge me. I don't judge you. Okay. I don't judge you. Don't judge me. So this portal opens. He's like, "What the boop?" and everything. So then we go back to this cake shop, with the candy shop, sorry, where we see what was her name? Shoot, the fog. I can't remember her name. And so Jane comes in, and she's like, "Oh, hey, how you doing? Get a little," and she like licks her hand like all seductive, like, "Want to give me some of that." Nothing happens, which is a bummer. I would have watched that. So they sit down, and she's all like, "I've been thinking about you," and all this stuff. And she's like, "It's not easy. And, this is kind of hard." And so they go to do their thing. And she's just like, "Oh my gosh, I need to, like, I don't know what I'm doing. This is really hard," kind of thing. And she ends up leaving, which I was like, I mean, whatever, do your thing, Jane. And so then she's trying to do the puzzle kind of thing. She's really bummed out. I feel bad for Jane, because, I do like Jane. It took me a minute to warm up to her, but I do like her now. So then Larry comes in with this guy, and he's like, "Hey, this is a bad guy. What, are we doing this again?" Because remember, they always bring in a bad guy, and then the bad to try to fix them, like they kind of did what they did with Madame Rouge and everything. But they did fix Madame Rouge. Madame Rouge is a good guy now. And he's like, "What, do we come bringing him in and everything?" And he's like, he's a good guy. He's gonna help us. And he's all like, he was all like, "I was supposed to bring you to take your longevity to Immortus, and he offered us wishes, whatever we wanted. And he could even offer you to stay with your electric baby, Nympho, or whatever he calls it. Niptus. Nah, that's not what it is. I can't remember what it's called. Sorry, guys." And so the little electric baby hears this because eventually he, does him dirty, in my opinion. And so then he's like, we're gonna do this again, where we bring in a stray villain and heal him or whatnot. So then the baby pops out and pushes Larry into the portal. And let me play this. And as he pushes him into the portal to Orquith, and then he's like, no. And then he boom. And then he goes back into the portal. Now, notice the fridge is still open after all of this, because that plays a part into the ending. So then he goes in there and it closes. So back at the ant farm headquarters, these two are talking or whatnot, these agents, and they go through, and then this hand pops through and grabs his card. And this is Madame Rouge right here as the old janitor, and this is Rita in the bucket. And I was like, man, this is good. I like this. I want to be honest, I wish they would do more stuff like this little part right here, because this part made me really happy. Sorry, you can't really see it that well. Sorry, guys, the screen. And he's like, why did I have to be the old man janitor? And she's like, did you really want to be the bucket of gross water or whatever? And I'm like, yeah, good point, Rita. So they go in here and they start looking through all this stuff. And she's all like, you figure it out. I can't do it. And she's all like, why? Tell me what's going on. And she's like, it's because of this guy. Now, I don't remember his name, but he was from last season and he got turned into a weapon, and then he's the one, hold on, let me play it. He's the one that shot her love interest, and so she's upset about that. I can't remember his name. We'll just call him Oliver. I apologize. I'm not good with names anyways. You have no idea how bad with names I am. So anyways, so these two are all bumming out, and she's like, no, we have to do this. You're coming with me. We are going to end it here. So they go in there and they see this portal, and they're like, yo, what happened, dude? And he's like, that baby just threw him in there. Larry's in that little dimension. And then so Vic jumps in. He's like, this is superhero stuff. I gotta go. So he jumps in, and then this guy grabs a knife and jumps in. He's like, hey, he took our best kitchen knife. I was like, huh, that's funny. So then he sees him coming in, and he's like, I told you this was superhero stuff. He's like, yeah, but you don't realize you're not a superhero anymore, dude. So he's all like, he's like, why did you come to Detroit? Because we're friends. I'm going to help you out. Let's do this together. We are homies. He's like, just because you left and you got rid of all, he's like, why did you get rid of all your tech? All this stuff. And he's like, just because you left us doesn't mean we're still not friends. And he's like, maybe it was partially my fault. I should have reached out. And he's right. When it comes to friendships, if the phone works both ways, guys. And I've done that before, where I blame other people because they didn't text me or call me, and they're like, you could have called me. And I'm like, that's 100% right. It's both our faults. It's 50-50. Friendships are like bank accounts. Okay. You don't just open one up and then you go, and the next day or you go in 10 years and there's a buttload of money in there. You have to keep putting in to the bank account. I don't know if that makes sense. I think that was a good analogy. Anyways, so he's like, what's this all about? Says he sees this paper flower. So they're walking along, and then back at the bureau, they come into this one, and it says, enter the kingdom Orquith. And then on another one, it says, Immortus will rise or whatnot. And so they see this door, and long story short, that he's like, I see you. And it's that dude that killed her lover. From William was his last, or maybe his name is William. Somebody's name is William. Anyways, and I'm gonna call him William. So he's all like, so they're like, we have to save him, kind of thing. So they're walking along, and they're talking some more. And I think this is where he says the whole friendship thing. So he's like, we're brothers. So she's all bummed, and then Robotman comes in. And he's like, hey, listen, I owe you an apology. And he's like, I should have been there for you. And he's like, don't make me say it. And he's like, if I want to, crap. He's like, I have to help the people that I love. I can't remember what he says. It's like a movie line. It was cheesy, but at the same time, I loved it. So then she's like, so he's like, so do you want to go F some people up? And he goes to take off the glove, and he takes it off because you remember he has the feeling in his hand. So he wanted to save that first sensation of touch for his grandson. But what does he do? He uses it for Jane, and which is very touching. I was like, good for you, Robotman. And so he's like, now, do you want to go F some people up? And she's like, yeah, I do. Some followers of Immortus. And then Willoughby pops in, and she's like, dude, you screwed me over. And he's all like, he's like, they came in, the followers of Immortus came in, they killed the wizards, they killed the bunny like that. And she's like, you took my longevity. And he's like, he took it to protect it from them. Robotman, we need to get you out of here because we need to protect your longevity. And they're like, we're gonna go F these people up. He's like, you can't attack them and defeat them, kind of thing. This is one of those things where you have to run and hide / protect your longevity because they are going to get it. You can't just fight them. And I'm like, it's the Doom Patrol. You don't know what you're talking about, Willoughby, because this is the Doom Patrol and they've dealt with worse. Kind of. I don't know. He's like, this is all that's left of that bunny. And I was like, oh, it's foot. At least I think that's its foot. So they're like, all right, we're going to go now. Bye. No, like, he's like idiots and everything. So then back here, they see these little scissor sisters. And he's all like, they're like, we need to take these guys out. And he's like, look at this. This is a paper flower, but it's got a pen in it. And he's like, remember when we played, I love when he brought up D&D. He's like, remember when we played D&D against, Marshall? He's like, yeah, he was such a petty DM. And he's like, remember we played against him, he was his worst enemy, kind of thing. So I was like, okay, great. So he's like, you said this place was magic and like imagination. So he draws a butterfly and the butterfly pops up out of the paper. He's like, I got an idea. So then these two are trying to get William out of this cell. And she's like, I'm not leaving without him. Rita. And she's like, we need to get out of here. Oh, we gotta get out of here. And she's like, I'm not leaving without him. We need to save him. We need to set this right, kind of thing. So then they end up opening the door and he's all like, it's all pain and suffering. Immortus will rise and everything. So Rita sees him and she is like having a hard time seeing him. So then she starts blobbing out. She like totally blobs out. She can't control her powers because this is too traumatizing. And he's all like, and then she squishes him / suffocates him / whatever. He's not there anymore. So then back here, the electric baby brought him here because he wants to give Immortus his longevity. So that way Immortus will grant them the baby's wish to keep them together forever, because he then shows him in the future. Hold on, I want to show this to you. In the future, the werebutts attack and they're chewing him up and everything, and he's trying to fight it. So he's been breached, if you will, and he's leaking radiation. So the baby flies him up into the universe or whatnot. And he's like, I don't know what to do, but you do. And he flies him into the sun because that's the only way to stop, I'm assuming, a nuclear explosion. And so that's what happens. He flies him into the sun, and then that's the end of that. And he's like, all right, I trust you. I trust you. Give him my longevity. So he gives him the longevity. And then we move forward, and these guys are drawing up their robot that they made when they were younger kids from a couple of episodes ago. Remember, it was like a little robot, but then now they're drawing it to make it a big robot. And so then eventually it comes to life. Hold on, let me get to it. And it's pretty cool. I was like, that's actually a pretty cool robot. I was like, I'll have one. Thank you, please. And so then they're like, go take out those scissor soldiers and everything. So then it says Immortus will rise, and she's like, where is William? And she's like, I squished him. And she's like, we don't know that. And I'm like, we kind of know that, Rouge. She's like, don't be nice to her. I mean, be nice, but be honest with her. She squished him. And she's like, yeah. And she's all like, I don't remember what she says here, but I'm pretty sure it's something along the lines of, we got to get out of here. So back in Orquith, he comes along, and they're like, he's gonna take out these scissor soldiers. And so he's going, and then hold on, I want to show you. And then Robotman and Jane show up. And so there's a bunch of soldiers, which I don't understand why he wasn't like at that point in time, pew 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 kind of thing. And so hold on, I'm trying to get to it. I should have done this differently. So then hold on, let me just, and then, so then they're ready to fight, and then poof, it just burst into paper. And he's like, if that guy can do that to that big robot, what can he do to us? And they bring them along, and out walks the temple monks or whatnot. and it's revealed that this is William, and he's like, hello. He's like, you're the last puzzle to this whole thing. And then they capture them, and they're like, and they bring him up to the thing, and they're all super happy. And then his hand's like talking. I can't remember what he says, but it sounds like Elmo. He's like, hey guys. And then he's all like, oh, he goes, hey, Papa, did you remember, Papa? Whatever he calls him. He's like, did you remember to shut the fridge before we left? And he's like, oh, crap. And then we see the werebutt get out of the fridge and hold on, let's just play this. Get out of the fridge and then run towards the screen. It's all like, and everything. And so that's how the werebutt invasion, the butt apocalypse happens. And then that's the end of the episode, which I personally thought was pretty good. So that's the end of the episode, which I thought the episode was pretty good. I really like this show. I'm interested to see what happens next. I think Immortus, even though I don't know anything about that bad guy, I think it's a good place and everything. Like I said before, I haven't really read the comics or whatnot, but yeah. All right, you guys, I'm gonna leave it there because I've pretty much taken up too much of your time already. But tell me what you guys thought about this. Did you like this episode? Did you not like this episode? What was your favorite part? Who's your favorite character? Tell me what you guys think. Go ahead and leave all your comments in that section down below. If you like this video, go and hit that like button. I won't mind. If you're new to my channel, please hit that subscribe button. I'd greatly appreciate it. And we'll see you guys on my next Doom Patrol breakdown and review. You guys have a good day. Bye.